The Ark of Rebirth, Chapter 1. The Spark of Hope. The year was 2150, and Earth was a total mess. Years of deforestation, pollution, and climate catastrophes had turned the once vibrant planet into a wasteland. The Arctic was long gone. Most major cities had turned into ghost towns, and the air was thick with smog. If Earth were a person, it would have been on life support, and even that was starting to fail. But humanity wasn't entirely without hope. The Ark of Rebirth, a state-of-the-art spacecraft, was being ready to evacuate the survivors and transport them to a new home in another star system. This was it, humanity's final chance. And of course, it was up to Captain Alina Hayes to make sure everything went according to plan, except that the plan had more holes than Swiss cheese. Captain Alina Hayes, with her cool demeanor and knack for problem-solving, had once thought fixing broken machines was a simple task. Now, she found herself overseeing the construction of a massive spacecraft. She rubbed her temples and groaned. "So, Max, you're telling me this thing is actually going to fly?" Max, the ship's lead engineer and resident optimist, looked up from his workbench, where he was adjusting some intricate wiring. "Definitely. It should. In theory. Worst case scenario, it's a very expensive fireball." Alina arched an eyebrow. "I think I'll pass on the fireworks show." Max just grinned. "It'll work, Captain. You'll see. Besides, I've got enough caffeine to fuel us through anything." Alina eyed the machine he was working on. "If this ship ends up looking like a giant coffee cup, I'll be holding you personally responsible." Max chuckled. "Well, that might not be too bad. People would want to visit just for the coffee experience." Chapter 2. The Team Assembles. The crew of the Ark was an eclectic mix of geniuses, eccentrics, and a few people who just wanted to get off Earth before it imploded. But despite the serious nature of their mission, they found time to crack jokes and keep things lighthearted, which made the overwhelming task ahead seem a little less daunting. Dr. Mia Roberts, the chief scientist, had a reputation for her sharp wit and dry humor. If you didn't know better, you'd think she was constantly trolling everyone. For example, she had a running joke about Max's incompetence with the ship's coffee machine. One morning, Alina walked into the crew lounge to find Max, who had somehow managed to break the coffee machine for the third time that week, grinning sheepishly. "Don't tell me," Alina sighed. "You broke the coffee machine again, didn't you?" Max threw his hands up in mock innocence. "I swear, it wasn't my fault. The machine attacked me. It started sputtering, and next thing I know, it was a full-blown coffee war. I'll fix it later. Maybe." Mia, who was already sipping from a personal thermos, added, "Maybe we should just replace it with a space-grade espresso maker. I'd rather not have to rely on Max's version of repairs." Max shot her a look. "I'm this close to pulling an Engineer of the Year award. Just wait." Mia snorted. "Oh, I'm sure it's just around the corner." She glanced over at Alina. "I'm considering hiring someone to help Max not break things." Alina leaned back in her chair and tapped her fingers on the table. I'm starting to think we'll all survive by the time Max gets the coffee machine working." Chapter 3. The Weight of Leadership. Alina was no stranger to pressure, but this was a whole new level. They had to ensure the Ark was ready for launch, and every system had to be flawless. Of course, when you're working with Max, Mia, and their unique brand of chaos, perfection was a rare commodity. One afternoon, Alina stood in front of the power core, trying to read through diagnostic reports that made her eyes water. Max strolled over with an air of nonchalance, clearly excited about something. "So, Captain," Max said, "what's our contingency plan in case we, have an epic failure of everything we've built?" Alina didn't even look up. "Well, in the worst-case scenario, we throw ourselves into space and hope for the best. Maybe set up a new colony in a star's atmosphere. Nice view, right?" Max chuckled. "Better than staying on Earth with the traffic, right?" "True," Mia interjected from the back. "But at least the air quality in traffic was better than it is here." Max turned to her, deadpan. "Yeah, sure. And the potholes were the real problem." Alina rolled her eyes but couldn't help but smile. It was moments like this that made the weight of leadership feel just a little lighter. Chapter 4. The Sabotage Saga. It wasn't just mechanical issues that the Ark had to contend with. There were also human factors. A faction of Earth's population, the Earth First movement, believed humanity should focus on fixing Earth, not abandoning it, and they were willing to sabotage the Ark mission to make their point. The crew was already on edge, so when things started going wrong, systems malfunctioning, supplies mysteriously disappearing, strange glitches in the navigation system, they couldn't shake the feeling that someone was trying to sabotage them. "All right, enough is enough," Alina snapped as she stormed into the crew meeting room. "We've got a rat in the system. It's not just bad luck. Someone's deliberately messing with us." Mia raised an eyebrow. "You mean someone other than Max?" Max looked wounded. "I resent that. I'm not that bad. I promise I'll get the coffee machine working one day." "Focus, Max," Alina ordered. "We need to figure out who's behind this before it's too late." Just as the conversation was getting heated, the communication system beeped. A message flashed on screen. "Earth First will prevail. The Ark is not our future. Unknown." "Well, that's just great," Max muttered. "Now we got a fan club, and they're all overachievers." Alina narrowed her eyes. "We're dealing with more than just sabotage. We've got a mission to save humanity, and someone's trying to stop it. Get to work. I want answers." Chapter 6. The Final Countdown. With the asteroid crisis behind them and the sabotage attempts now under control, the Ark was finally ready for launch. The final preparations began in earnest, and everyone on board had a role to play. Max was, unsurprisingly, the first to voice his concerns. What happens if this whole planet relocation thing doesn't work out? Do we just go back to Earth and pretend we never left? Mia sighed, leaning against the wall. "Oh yeah, we'll just waltz back into Earth's atmosphere like nothing happened. Easy peasy." Alina took a deep breath and smiled despite everything. "We make it work. We've come this far. We have to." As the countdown began, Alina found herself reflecting on all the challenges they'd faced and the humor they'd used to keep going. This mission and these people might just be humanity's last hope, but they were determined to make it through, together. And with that, the Ark of Rebirth shot off into the stars, leaving behind a dying Earth and a crew ready for a new beginning. One that involved less caffeine addiction, fewer explosions, and hopefully fewer saboteurs. Epilogue. A new beginning. As the Ark sailed through the stars, Alina glanced out the window at the vast expanse of space. They had succeeded, but in true Ark fashion, they hadn't done it alone. They had done it with laughter, a lot of sarcasm, and an unhealthy amount of caffeine. Max was already working on a new coffee machine. Mia was already planning how they'd build a new society, probably one that involved less chaos but no promises. And Alina? She was already thinking ahead. What came next, after all, wasn't just about surviving. It was about thriving. And if they had to do it with a sense of humor, then so be it.